Okay, we're picking up where we left off. Today is Sunday, July 21st, 2024. Again, this is Vinny Blasio doing the part two. You do not have permission to use this without express written consent from myself. I represent nobody. The opinions, again, are only originated by me, though some may share the sentiments. Everything that I'm talking about is expressed solely by me, and I represent no entity, labor organization, state government, and I reside in the state of Florida. So speaking of the collective voice, where we left off with Salazar and Marticello III, speaking as one, at least as what was released in both their separate press releases. I've read what people are saying. The retirees, resigned members, active members, and family members keep asking, what is the union doing? I don't represent the union. I haven't been part of the union since I retired, and that was under Council 82 in 2020. I haven't been part of NYSCOBA since 2015. So I can't speak for what they're doing, though. As I told you in the last, I'm sure there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes that they can't broadcast or will broadcast. And going back even to my tenure, it's like no, they don't do a very good job bragging about the stuff that they do. So I'm not going to sit there and feed into the bashing of the union, but the active members actually make up the union. So that's a question. If your thing, you want to know what is the union doing, I mean, that's the active members' voices, and direct that directly to your union officials to find out exactly what are they doing on your behalf. This crisis wasn't created overnight. We get into what a labor organization stands for. I just got done working for a different labor organization outside of New York State and helping them get through some navigations, not as ludicrous in bureaucracy as New York State. But everybody has their unique problems, and their staffing crisis has been coming for a while now. But just like I told the current labor organization, is that you have to stay ahead of it. No plan is not an action. You're just staying afloat and trying to go it, and that's not a bash on anything that's going on in New York. It's just it seems to be a countrywide problem, and some people are ahead of the curve and some people are behind it. But I'm not going to bash the union, but that's a question that I keep reading, and you guys are dividing between yourself. But if you need information, seek accurate and factual information instead of putting out bogus directly from your union officials. Anyone can be a Facebook warrior and bitch on Facebook. That solves no problems. I always led by my example, and it's easy to throw insults, but before you bitch, it doesn't further anyone's cause. And I've always addressed problems by bringing them to light and then offering a solution. People may have not liked my solutions, but at least I had one, and I'll stand by that any day of the week. A bad plan is better than no plan. And you just can't, especially in today's navigation. It's been years since HALT's enacted and different things. You have to have a strategic plan going forward. And like I said, I speak for me, so I don't know what the strategic plan is. I'm not there to help, guide, interfere, or tell what a plan is, if there is one, because I have no knowledge of what the state nor the union is doing in regards to that. But HALT has been active for many years now. So what is the plan going forward? What is the plan tomorrow? What is the plan next week, next year? I mean, that's how you get things done, and that's why you put people in place to give you the foresight and come up with a strategic plan on how to fight things. And that's not just a union aspect, that's a member aspect, and that's also a state aspect. You're in bad times when the unions, whose job is to protect workers' rights, bargaining for better pay and better working conditions, and preserving what you have so you don't go backwards, and their other job is to bring in more members. But how bad is it? But in these times, the union and members are actually asking for closures and to lose membership and lose money coming into the organization instead of asking for more. I mean, that's just an insult, and that's the sign of the times, that the members in the union are actually fighting against what a labor organization does, because the staffing crisis has got so bad. Part of that, I believe, is by design, not by the union, but obviously by the state, and also because the state has no foresight, and you're rewarding people in top management positions that should have seen this coming. I mean, when DOCCS keeps saying at every press release and the public protection hearings that this is a countrywide problem, and that is true. But when you have done nothing and you've seen the light of it coming from the locomotive that's headed straight at you, and you've come up with no plan, and then it smacks you dead in the face, you can't sit there and cry, well, it's a countrywide problem. Well, do something about it. What have you done about it? What have you done? You haven't shed. Like we said in the last video, you have to plug up both ways. You have to stop people who are leaving, and resigning. And the memo by Marticello has an opposite effect. It's going to encourage people to resign, leave, just quit and retire. And you also have to plug in people coming into the pipeline. And you've seen this crisis coming, and you just sit there and said, oh, well, it's a sign of the times. We're in love with the HALT Act. We're not going to do anything about it. And we're going to skip down the merrily HALT Avenue and just pretend like throw our hands up in the air and say, oh, well, no, that's not strategic planning. That's not going to help anybody. And that's why we find ourselves in the position that we're in today. And again, where's the plan? I don't know. Staffing is a management prerogative. It was what we're always told. Well, now management seems to want to get out of that prerogative and shift it upon labor, which is bullshit. You can't have it both ways. Contract reads, and you want to say that it's a management prerogative. Years ago we sat at many meetings and bitched about staffing the opposite way, and well, that's a management prerogative. Restaff, and now all of a sudden you want to sit there and blame labor because of your poor planning and strategic. No, you can't have your cake and eat it too, and that's exactly what DOCCS is trying to do, and trying to pull the wool over not only the governor's eyes, the legislators' eyes, but more importantly the staff that do the hard work every single day, and they just try to turn around and stick it in their ass and try to blame them for the crisis that they themselves created and their bullshit policies and their bullshit laws. And I'll stand by that any fucking day of the week. So, let's get on to that. Again, bad plan is better than no plan. But let's get back to, the union a little bit. The union isn't totally absolved. Like I said, I'm not going to bash them, but where's the lobbyists? Where you didn't see them years ago when we had Chris Leo as the legislative director. He was out there making salary charts and everything to bring light to that. I don't see anything. He was in the LOB every day that the people got sick of him. And he was always stuffing their mailboxes with letters from members, different news articles that was going on throughout that. Where is that action today? Maybe it's going on, maybe it's not, but I don't see anything. I heard recently that there's going to be a recent seminar that's coming up while I am in town in New York, in Hamburg, New York. And then I just came back. I saw people at an impromptu meeting the other day, last Saturday. I saw people Thursday when we met out. I just got back from Utica, New York. I saw people out there. And then this weekend, or coming Friday, I'll be out in the Glens Falls area to speak to some more people. But again, where's the lobbyists and all this? Where's the attorneys? I don't know. And if what you believe, or if I'm to believe what I read on Facebook, and I have no reason not to believe it, but if the attorneys and your lobbyists are not listening to you, then force them. You pay them. They work for you, whether they want to believe so or not. Sometimes they think that they work for themselves, and they tell the union what to do as opposed to the union telling what to do. Make them come to the jail. Make them come in on a Saturday and say that, hey, you're coming to the jail once a week, and you're going to tour a different facility so you can hear directly from the members what the hell is going on. What better way to fight it is for them to hear with their own ears and their own eyes and see people bitching and saying, hey, this is nice COBA attorney Greg Jones or Patty Smith, and oh my God, I can't believe it. Well, we didn't realize it was this bad, And I'm sure that they hear about it, but put them into the line of fire that people can take their frustrations out and know that somebody has actually listened to it, and then we can come up with a game plan. Not me, meaning we, but the members and the organization to come up with something and may be able to help somebody instead of getting mandated for doubles, triples, and RDOs. And it's just crude. They need to hear it by not just word of mouth, but actually seeing the suffering that's going on inside of the facilities. And you pay the attorneys a lot of money. Make them come to a jail and work on a weekend and hear directly from the members. They work for you. You tell them what to do. So, but bitching on Facebook with no action plan or anything else, it doesn't help. It doesn't solve any problems, and it just makes it a little better. You see people walking, and you discuss it, I'm sure, at every function, retirement party, parties for union meetings, what have you, and definitely inside the jail, not just inside the truck trap. And I'm sure that you guys discuss this every day. So discuss it with somebody outside of DOCCS, outside of that you're paying good money to, and let them hear the suffering that's going on in every cell block and every dorm and every trip officer that's out there. So again, we can all bitch, but there's got to be a bigger prerogative, bigger plan than just becoming a keyboard gangster and find that information out for yourself of what's being done. And I think you'd be surprised to say that, hey, there are people that are actually doing something. And I hate when people say that, well, what's somebody else doing for me? I mean, you're the lowest person in seniority that's still paying union dues. You are the union, and DOCCS can sit there and bitch about it and bitch about staffing and say that, what are you coming up with to give me a policy? But at the end of the day, not saying that the labor shouldn't work with management to try to solve some of these problems, but labor didn't create the problem. So to sit there and put it on the backs of each member and saying that you have to be mandated for doubles, triples, come in and RDOs, no, get your fat ass into the jail and you start working doubles, triples, and come in on your day off. We didn't create the problem when we can't solve it for you because we don't have the management tools to be able to offer different things, to be able to help with the recruitment process and doing it. And that letter from Marticello does just the opposite. I can't stress that enough. So that's what it needs to be started with right then and there, and change the mentality. I mean, management can't have it both ways. You can't say that, we only manage and the rest of it is your fault. We only manage when we want to, but now it's a staffing crisis. We need labor. Well, you created the problem, you solve it. Again, Vinny Blasio, we went a little bit over time, and we'll talk again next week.